If you're hitting the road with your four-wheel drive and you're thinking of going caravanning, there's lots to think about. Alan Peach from Metec Advanced Driver Training is with us today. Alan, there's a lot to think about when you're towing a van or a camper trailer. What are some of the key things you need to do before you hit the road?
All right, well, you've loaded it and you've put everything in their correct spot. Make sure that the cupboard doors, the catches, are in place.
It seems obvious, but
you might have to spray a bit of silicone spray on them. My wife does inside, I do outside, but we both check each other.
Yeah. Double check everything before you go.
Double check, make sure the handbrake is off on the caravan and flip the lever right over. We will check the tail lights. Each time you unhook the van, always check your tail lights. Right indicator, left indicator, stop lights, tail lights. People have been known not to plug in and they're driving down the road without.
So it's often a case of double checking all the attachments because you are unhooking and hooking up a lot if you're on the road for a while, aren't you? Get into a caravan park, everything gets unplugged, you've got to do it all again the next morning. It's easy to get distracted, isn't it? You think, oh, let's go, hit the road, double check before you go, that's what you're saying.
The other thing is make sure the catch on your fridge is over. Otherwise you have your tea off the floor. And
it's happened to me, I can assure you it's easy.
Well, it happened to me on the Nullarbor.
Not a happy experience. What about actual towing tips on the road? How much braking space do you need? You've got an extra weight on the back of your rig. How much room do you need? Right,
the 2-second rule is applying for a car to leave a 2-second gap between the car in front.
Right, if you need to brake.
If you need to brake safely. With a caravan, you make it 4 seconds. So as the car goes past a fixed point, you count 1001, 1002, up to 4.
That's the space you need to leave.
That's the space you need to leave.
So if you're towing a heavy van or a trailer, you need a bit of extra space because it might take you longer to pull up.
That's right. So 4 seconds for a caravan. If it's wet like today, 8 seconds. And that is a big gap. And people will say, but other people come and go in between. So what? You just back off a little bit.
What about turning? It's obviously a lot longer than you're used to towing. A normal vehicle is something you get used to, but now you're twice as long or even longer.
Well, you will say turning right at the traffic lights, you need to go further out on the road before you start your swing. Because if there's a car parked at the stop line, you can wipe the front of it off.
Important too when you're leaving a service station, isn't it? Because it's quite tight, you've got your Bowsers and your bollards there, so easy to turn too tight.
Into a petrol Bowser.
And final tip for those who are going on their holiday, they're all rigged up, ready to go.
Have a good trip.
And it's a partnership, isn't it? Use your passenger and your driver together.
And if you do, you will have a good holiday, because that's the idea of going caravanning, to enjoy yourself, to see this vast land, and it is a vast land, but there's a lot of good places. Oh, one other tip, make sure that you actually talk to people. You can find out where they've been, what they've done, and everything like this, and it could be places you have never heard of. And by doing that, you can see a lot more of Australia.
It's a great piece of advice. Alan, thanks for all your tips over the series. This has been
Dean.
Alan Peach at Metec Advanced Driver Training.